お疲れ様ですは英語で何て言うの？答えは意外と難しいです。皆さんこんにちは。アーサーです。お疲れ様ですは日本語で毎日のように使われる表現ですが、外国人の友達と話してお疲れと言いたいときに何と言ったらいいのでしょうか？
あーさ、お疲れ様は英語でなんて言うの？
Well, there's no real one way to say it in English, but you could say お疲れ様ですに該当する一つの英語のフレーズがないから、英語の表面的な意味ではなくコミュニケーションの面で考える必要があります。そこで今回の動画では、1、お疲れ様ですを自然に言えるための考え方。2、お疲れ様ですの基本的なイメージ。3、場面別の英語の自然な言い方を学びましょう。そして最後に数百人の生徒が英語を気軽に話せるようになった鍵をシェアしますので、よろしくお願いします。So first, let's look at the mindset we need to naturally say お疲れ様です in English. 考え方？考え方じゃなくて単純にお疲れ様ですの英語の言い方を知りたいんだよ。I understand those feelings, but our way of thinking about English is much more important than learning English phrases and grammar, because just focusing on the phrases, if we have a wrong mindset, can actually lead to saying the wrong things. You know, one day when I was studying abroad in Japan, I was on the Chuo line going back home, and it was the last train. And in front of me was a guy in his mid-20s dangling on the train straps. And when he looked over at me, he froze. And then he started to grin and raised his fist. And what was this guy gonna do? He lifts out his thumb and says, "Good job!" And I was just thinking, what? 何もしてないのによくできたって? And it was only later I realized he wanted to say お疲れ, and we had a nice conversation on the train actually. お疲れ様です is a really convenient phrase that you can use for many situations. And personally, I like that Japanese has phrases like this. And because there is only one phrase in Japanese, お疲れ様です, people try to find one phrase in English. You know, it seems natural and convenient to find one English word or phrase for every Japanese word or phrase. And the guy from my story probably learned that you can use good job for お疲れ様です in some situations. And that's why he used the phrase that way. But the purpose of English isn't to translate Japanese words into English words. 英語の本来の目的は頭の中のイメージ、気持ち、情報、いわばメッセージを相手に伝えることです。And if we focus on the words themselves more than the messages, it's easy to cause misunderstandings or say something strange like good job when you should say something else. If we want to speak naturally, we need to focus on the messages more than anything else. And for that, we need to know the message of お疲れ様. So, what's the message of お疲れ様? Let's look at that together now. So the phrase お疲れ様 now has become a basic greeting people do every day. When you meet friends, お疲れ. When you leave the office, お疲れ. When you meet up after work, お疲れ. And when I first came to Japan, this was very strange for me. I had never learned the phrase お疲れ様です before, and then suddenly everyone around me was saying it. お疲れ様, you look tired? Well, how is that a greeting? It made no sense to me at all.
お疲れ.
What do you mean by that? And that's when I learned something about Japanese culture in particular. In Japan, there is a culture of hard work. You have the shokunin no bunka, right? And hard work is something to be respected. And the phrase お疲れ様 recognizes someone's effort, someone's hard work. And that's why お疲れ様 has become a very common phrase now. It's a nice thing. Now, how can you convey that message in English in the same way as お疲れ様? Well, to be honest, you can't really. In the West, there isn't much of a culture of recognizing people's hard work. The ancient Greeks thought that hard work was for lower class people and slaves, not for the nobility, not for the rich people. And in Europe today, people will see you as inefficient and bad at your job if you have to do overtime. People celebrate free time and leisure, not hard work. And so basically saying, you look tired, you must have worked so hard, actually sounds more like an insult in English. Hey, I just finished work.
Oh, you look tired.
Huh? What do you mean by that? Now, this may feel strange because when you speak in English, you want to share that feeling of recognizing someone's hard work. But culturally, it doesn't really match to say that in English. And this is why learning English is so much more than learning words and phrases. It's about adopting a new mindset, a new sense. And so based on that, how do you say お疲れ様 in English? Well, let's look at various situations individually. The most common one is as a basic greeting, near the end of the day. You normally say this after someone has finished working, but like I shared before, there isn't a culture of recognizing hard work. So you don't say anything special, you just use a regular greeting like, Hey, how are you? Hi.
お疲れ。
What do you mean by that?
I'm just saying hi.
Oh, hi. The next situation is when you are leaving work and you say goodbye to your coworkers. Well, what do you say in this situation? Well, once again, normally you don't say anything special other than just a regular greeting like, see you guys tomorrow. See you later. All right, I'm done for the day. Time to go home.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
お疲れ. But if there was a project or a problem that you worked on that day and you worked harder than normal, well, you could say something like, Good work today. Good job.
今日は大変だったね。
Yeah, it was really tough.
Good job.
Good job! But this isn't an everyday thing, only when people work harder than normal. Now, another time you could use お疲れ様です is when you hear about how someone worked really hard and you want to encourage them. You want to make them feel better and empathize with them and their feelings. Well, in that case, you can say something like, that must have been so tough. That sounds so tough. In Japanese, this would be the same as saying 大変だったね. But in English, like I said, we don't go the next step of saying お疲れ a lot.
How was your week?
It was great. I took some time off from work and I spent the whole day taking care of my 2 boys.
大変だったね、お疲れ様。
No, I know, it was great. It was super easy. I wish I could do that every day.
じゃあ取り消し。
Huh? Okay, まとめに入りましょう。1、お疲れ様ですは英語であまり伝えないニュアンスが入るので、お疲れ様ですみたいな単語は英語にないです。2、日本語ならお疲れ様ですを使う場面は英語になるとほとんどねぎらうのニュアンスをなくして普通の言い方を使います。Hi, hello, how are you? See you later, see you tomorrow. 3、相手はいつも以上に苦労して英語でねぎらう場合は Good work today, good job を使います。今回の動画では生きた英語をたくさん学べたと思いますが、英語を実際に気軽に話せるようになるにはどうしたらいいのでしょうか？ほとんどの方は英語のフレーズ、文法をたくさん学ぶのですが、いきなり外国人を目の前にして話す機会が来たら、頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこないです。僕自身も日本語を4年間勉強したのですが、実際に日本に行ったら全く話せなくて本当に悔しい思いをしました。でもそこで気づきました。英語を実際に話せるようになる鍵はもっと勉強するのではなく、英語を実際に話す感覚を身につけることですね。で、それができたら、僕と数百人の僕の生徒が気軽に楽しく話せるようになって、人生が劇的に変わりました。その実際に話す感覚を身につけた方法は今回の動画でシェアすると長くなるので、無料 PDF にまとめてみました。興味のある方はぜひこちらをクリックするか動画の下のリンクをクリックしてください。As always, enjoy your English adventures. これからも一緒に世界とつながりましょう。See you next time!
朝、お疲れ様。
朝